Okay, let's look at the camera and how that works. We have different parts here: the lens, the aperture, the shutter and the film. These have similarities in the eye, but also some differences as well. We need to be clear on both. Here we have a distant object. That object reflects light rays from the object towards the camera. When it gets to the lens, it will bend the light or redirect it, because the light changes speed when it passes from one transparent material into another, and this causes the direction of the light to change, so it refracts, and that will focus on the film at the back. The aperture is like the iris here. It will control the amount of light getting through, so we can change that. So on a camera like this, I can change that with various settings on here. We have a protective front of the camera here, which acts a bit like the cornea. And inside here, we have a lens. Here, like ours. Now, we can't change the shape of the lens in this because it's made from glass. What we can do is focus by moving the lens backwards and forwards. Okay, so that allows us to focus the image by moving the lens backwards and forwards. The shutter controls the light entering, so not like the aperture. The aperture will just control like the iris and allow a certain amount in. The shutter blocks off the light completely. When we press the button on the camera, the shutter opens and lets the light through just instantaneously, so that that light will then form an image on that photosensitive film, and that will make a permanent image. Now in the eye, when the light passes through, it's focused on the back of the eye here. There's no shutter, well, unless you count the eyelid, okay? But the retina does not make a permanent image. The information is sent directly to the brain via the optic nerve, and it changes constantly. Whereas this film, you can only use it once and it will make a permanent image. Okay, the film then has to be taken out of the camera and processed very carefully using chemicals to give you the photograph. So it's very old-fashioned. Most of you will have very little idea of how these old cameras work. Let's compare. We have, in the eye, we have the lens, and we have a lens in the camera, and that focuses the image. So both the camera and the eye have the same there. So next we have the iris, the colour part of the eye, the aperture in the camera, and that controls the amount of light entering. We also have in the eye the retina, and we have the film in the camera. The difference between them is the retina is a temporary image, the film is a permanent image. So you can only use that once. The retina can take as many images as you choose, millions and millions and millions of images over time.